Ruidoso Downs Racetrack and Casino kicks off their Summer Meet Memorial Day weekend and will continue with live racing every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through Labor Day. Don't miss your chance to watch and wager on the stakes trials this weekend with the first leg of the Quarter Horse Triple Crown, the Grade 1 Ruidoso Futurity, and Ruidoso Derby. Bet with your favorite ADW and get free PPs at raceruidoso.com. Experience the excitement of thoroughbred and quarter horse racing from the mountains of New Mexico at Ruidoso Downs. Guaranteed excitement, you bet.
Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 8 at Churchill Downs on Saturday is the $100,000 Tepin Stakes. Let's take a look at the field for 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the turf, and it features the seasonal debut of last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf winner. The number 9 Sharing will be making her first start as a 3-year-old. She's going to be taking on, though, a couple of tough customers, most notably the undefeated number 14 Alms, who has the recency advantage but a lousy post position.
Yeah, they're both co 3-to-1 choices on the morning line here, Dan. The morning line maker couldn't separate these two, and I got to admit, it's pretty tough. They're both really good.
And as you would expect in a field of this size, there should be some pace on. Timeform US believes it will be a red bar scenario as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. The 11, Air of Light, who was on the lead last time out, projected to make the lead. Absconds, pace presser in his most recent start, her most recent start, pardon me. She'll be out there. And Outburst, who I think is a little bit more versatile. I think she'll be taken back from off the pace in good spirits, figures to show some speed to 6.
Yeah, there is enough speed in this race. I mean, I did think the 11 would make the front in here, if only because that seems like her only real chance in the race. The other horses that are up close, they're much more versatile than she is, I think.
Oxum Power, the number 1, is going to try turf for the first time. She won the first 2 starts of her career coming from way back, and she got bet a little bit in the Bourbonnette Oaks last time out on a synthetic surface, and she just didn't fire that day against some of these others. She has a little bit of turf in the pedigree as she makes her grass debut, but she's going to need a buyer boost in order to beat these. It seems like a tough spot.
Yeah, she's going to have to really improve. It's funny. She has no speed at all, Dan. She made actually a really big run to break her maiden right up the inside to win. And she did the same thing when she won her second start. Now, she had a really fast pace duel in front of her that day, but she also had a disastrous start in that race. It was kind of amazing that she overcame it to win 2 starts back. I don't know if she's a stakes horse, Dan, but she's probably a little underrated.
Let's take a look at Absconds' most recent race, the Grade 3 Here Comes the Bride. This was a race where there just wasn't any closing. The winner, Cheermeister, went to the front. Absconds had been chasing in second throughout. Absconds is game. She's trying all the way down to the wire. This pace just completely held up. Absconds is a Grade 1 stakes winner. She won the Natalma at 2. Maybe she prefers a little cut in the ground.
Maybe she does. I just wonder, Dan, if she can win a race like this without just getting all the breaks in her races. I don't have any knocks on her first 2 starts of the year, but she had really good trips both times, had a chance both times, I thought, and just wasn't quite good enough. She can win this race if everything works out, but I'm not using this horse. I think there are better horses in here.
Walkin' Marrakesh was nosed out by Absconds in the Natalma. She's run a couple of times this year, and I think she's been compromised in both of those races. Maybe not the greatest trips. Last time out in the Sanibel Island, she ran into Highland Glory, who I think's okay. She came back to finish second in the Honey Rider with an 80 buyer. I think they're going to take her back. The pace should be fast. She's going to make a run with Jose Ortiz getting the mount for the first time.
Yeah, agreed. I'm going to use this horse. I didn't care for the trip she got last time. I don't think it was necessarily Bravo's fault, but she got filtered back out of position very early in that race, then had a steady on the second turn as well. I don't think that trip worked out at all. And her first 2 starts over here when they shipped her over, I thought she ran fine both times, even though she just missed.
Domingo rallied from out of it for Brad Cox to win the Lacombe Memorial last time out at the fairgrounds, but wasn't she just beaten on the square by Alms 2 starts back? You really can't throw out anything that Brad Cox puts on the racetrack, but I do think this horse is going to have to improve if she's to turn the table on Alms, as well as beat the returning Sharing.
That's what I thought. I mean, she's got some upside, and she's run fine more than once on the turf. Her overall form is actually very good, but as opposed to the war chant that we looked at for the 3-year-old colts earlier, this is a very tough spot. This is not the kind of thing where you can just step in here, I think, and run your typical race, and maybe it'll be good enough. There are some good horses in here.
Hendy Woods, the number 5, has a lot of potential. She seems so green. She's 2 for 2 in her career. Last time out, first start against Winner, she got a really nice trip under Declan Carroll. She was able to save ground. She came to the outside, and she was just changing leads 3-4 times in the stretch, and it was just her natural talent that propelled her to the win. She has some ability. I like her tactical speed. I wonder if she's still too inexperienced to handle a field like this.
I was thinking the same thing. I think she has a lot of talent, though, Dan. I almost put her on top in this race. She's got a great running style, and as you say, just a ton of upside, a ton of talent. It looks like had no idea what she was doing last time, but she was relentless through the stretch. She would not stop coming. I'm using this horse at a price.
We both are, as we see in our picks a little bit later on. She's in our top 4. The 6 is In Good Spirits, gate to wire winner of her last 2 races, but that was last year in the fall. Let's watch her race at Keeneland. First start against Winners in Bigwell Mena gave her a very nice ride. Just backed the pace down on the backstretch. She got a half in 48-2. She sprints on home. It was a decent enough field that she beat. The third place finisher came back to run third in the Grade 3 Florida Oaks with a 78 before placing in a one other than at Gulfstream with an 82 buyer. In Good Spirits is okay. And the question is the layoff and the pace situation. Will she have to go a lot faster?
Yeah, and coming back in a really tough spot as well. I mean, she got away easy on the lead in both of her turf wins last year, but you know what? She's 2 for 2 on the grass. Her figures suggest that she actually has some talent. She's going to need a different trip this time, but I won't be surprised if she turns out to be good, this horse.
Outburst is a very dangerous contender for Eddie Keneally and Javier Castellano. This horse has won her last 3 races, including this performance in the Florida Oaks. Loved how Javier rode her. This horse came from off the pace to win her North American debut. This time out, he put her right on the lead, and he really gave her a breather the second half. She's able to just hold off Walk in Marrakesh late. Her versatility certainly helps her out. The 7th place finisher of this race came back to win the Honey Rider at Gulfstream with an 84 buyer speed figure. She has a recency edge over Sharing and a better post position than Alms. She's an interesting contender.
Yeah, she makes a lot of sense in this race. She's run 4 times, ran really well in both of her starts in France, I thought, and she's run really well in both of her starts over here. She's just a very logical contender in this race.
Jezebel's Kitten, the number 8, second start of the form cycle for Brad Cox. I think this filly can improve a little bit off the Lacombe Memorial. I didn't think she got the right setup or trip in that race. Does she need a buyer boost? Certainly, but that's not out of the realm of possibility. This is only her 5th lifetime start.
Yeah, I can see her improving too. I actually really liked when she won that stake at Kentucky Downs in her second career start. I really liked that effort from her. I realized that when they bumped her up in class after that, it didn't quite work out, but I wouldn't give up on this horse just yet. She's going to be a price in here, and I think she's actually going to be pretty good.
Here's Sharing, 3 for 4 last year at 2, including this victory in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. I thought Manny Franco really gave this filly a great ride. Aggressive out of the gate, took her in hand, settled right in the second flight, eased out 3 wide, and Sharing comes running in the lane. She missed a little bit of time earlier this year, but Graham Motion can get horses ready off layoffs, and this horse just has the good amount of tactical speed to work out a trip. In many ways, she's the horse to beat despite the layoff.
Yeah, she is probably. And I like that even though she missed time, Graham's really been building her up for this race too. A couple of 6 furlong breezes, a 7 furlong breeze. I suspect she's going to be fit for this, Dan. You know, listen, I don't have any knocks on this horse. She ran well in every one of her starts last year. Right from day one, you could tell that she was going to be good, and she is good, and she's the horse to beat.
Past the plate, a 1-run closer, the number 10, that would certainly benefit from a fast and contested pace. Second last time out in the Bourbon at Oaks behind Queen of God, who she's going to face one more time. Another horse, the buyer speed figures are a bit light, but I guess given the right setup, she has a chance to perhaps get a piece of this at a big price.
Yeah, that's how I was looking at it too. Actually, she's okay, and maybe she can get a piece of it. I couldn't really see myself using her on top in this race, Dan, but she'll be running at the end.
Projected Pacesetter, according to Timeform US, is the 11, Air of Light. She was on the lead last time out. We're going to watch that race. It was a non-winners of one other than at Gulfstream, and she had to go pretty fast in the early portion of this race, and she just didn't have it in the lane, finishing third. The 6th place finisher coming back to win with an 81 buyer speed figure. Air of Light is going to be in trouble as she steps up if the Timeform US red bar scenario is right. I think a fast pace works against her.
Yeah, it does. That was a solid pace she made in that race right there, but I still didn't see it with this horse. I don't see the race that she has run that makes her a true contender in here.
I wonder if I'm giving up too early on the 12 moral reasoning for Chad Brown. I thought she ran okay in the Ginger Brew 2 starts back, a race where she was saving ground. She got outpaced a bit on the turn. She followed the winner when she got to the outside, and she just missed. I liked her a little bit in the Sweetest Chant, and she just couldn't get to Cheermeister as the favorite. Cheermeister came back to win the Here Comes the Bride with an 83, second in the Sanibel Island with an 80 buyer. She'll get the right setup here with moral reasoning. Maybe I'm getting off her too soon.
Yeah, especially when you get these connections at a price, and she is going to be a price in this race. We'll see. I was disappointed in her Swedish Champ. Maybe the cut in the ground is what she didn't like that day, Dan. I just didn't think she ran well at all in there. But prior to that, I think she did run well in her first 3 starts. So it probably is too early to give up on this horse.
Queen of God, the 13, taken over by Michael Maker, immediately won a starter stake at Gulfstream on the turf, then won the Bourbonnette Oaks on synthetic. Nice tactical speed showing in that race, settling in mid-pack and finishing it off. Just don't think much of the Bourbonnette Oaks, and I think she's going to have to do a lot better against this much tougher field.
Yeah, me too. I mean, listen, we've seen this before. She's 2 for 2 since Maker's taken over. He's improved this horse. Maybe he can improve her again. I'll take a wait and see on her here, but she's going to be a big price.
And here is Alms, the 14, Godolphin daughter of City Zip. And she overcame a really slow pace last time out in the Lacombe Memorial. It was a race where Paco Lopez just had her 3 wide. And in Paco style, he's looking behind for competition at about the 5/16 pole. And when he let this horse loose in the stretch, she really fired. She has a strong kick. It's all about what sort of trip can she get from out there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Certainly post 14's, no bargain. But listen, you can get good trips from bad posts, and you can get bad trips from good posts. So I'm just not going to worry about it too much with her. She's a very handy horse, and you could just pick any one of her first 4 career starts, Dan, and go and watch it, and she looked the same every time. Very confidently ridden, full of run when the question was asked to her. Each and every time she has stretched out effectively. She's just really, really good. I think she's going to be tough in here.
And that's where Mike goes as we take a look at our top picks for this race. Mike's going 14, 5, 9, and 3 with Alms overcoming the outside post. I think Shering's going to be ready to go for Graham Motion. I liked what I saw last year from her, and if she could just build on it a little bit, she's going to be a force in this division this year for Motion. 9, 14, 2, and 5 for me. It's the $100,000 Teppan. It's race 8 at Churchill. It has an approximate post of 440 Eastern. Good luck.